Hey there, thanks for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Today, we're going to be coloring with our Copic markers this brand new My Favorite Things stamp set called Friends at First Sip. Aren't they super cute? I'll put a link to the card kit and all the supplies I used down in the description box in case you'd like to pick something up. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I stamped my image on some Neenah 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I used my stamp positioner so that I could stamp a bunch of girls or all those images at once and not have to repeat yourself. You don't need a stamp positioner, but I find it easier to do it then, and then I don't have to reset everything. Also, if you leave the stamps in there and then you come back after you've colored, you can re-stamp the girls and it kind of darkens everything up. I think that looks really cool. I always forget and take the stamps out of the stamp positioner, but it does darken the lines up after you've colored it and make them pop a little bit more, I find, when I do remember not to take them out. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and we're coloring our girls up here. We're going to use the skin tones E11, E21, E00, and for the cheeks of both girls we use R32 and R30. I'm coloring darkest to lightest on that, so we're going to also do the hair. So for the hair we're going to use E09, E17, and E13. Both girls are going to have the same color hair. I didn't want to get a million markers out, so I went ahead and just tried to use colors for each girl on each one and on the cart, and so that you didn't have to have 15 markers out, or 25. I'm sure I have 15 here. I had quite a few and I just didn't want to have to get a bunch out. I chose to color each of the girls separately and then move on to the next, or choose one girl and then choose the next girl, but when I color for myself, I usually go ahead and just color all the skin at once and then all the hairs at once. Like for these girls, I would have done all their hair and then do all their skin, or vice versa. If I'm using the same pins, I don't get them out a bunch of times. If I'm going to color things the same color, I just color them all at once instead of skipping around like I did here. So just so you know, that's how I usually do it. For this video, I went ahead and just colored each one separate because my child was running around the house and I didn't want to forget where I was, so I just kind of went with what I had going, finished one at a time, and then went from there. So for the reds today, we're using R30, R39, R37, R35, and R32. So if we're using red, those are the reds we're going to be using. I think I only colored this girl's sweater with the red, but you could use this red over on the canopy for your cart. I think that would look really cool instead of the blue, so you could switch it up if you wanted to. And again, I went from darkest to lightest, so I went from dark to my lightest color, and then I'm giving everything today 2 coats. It was a 2-coat day. Sometimes I don't do 2 coats, sometimes I do. For blues today, we're going to use B99, B97, and B95. So again, here I'm going in with my darkest color of my pants, I'm adding my medium tone, and then I'm going over that with my lightest tone. I always leave a little bit of white on the edges so that when I come back with my second coat, that will be still lighter than what it was before. That just works best for me. I don't leave the white there, I always fill it in, but for me it leaves, if you leave a little bit of white, I'm only adding 1 coat there instead of multiple coats. So for the blue, I'm also using that blue on the girl's alternate stripe on her dress and on the canopy for the cart. So you could use those colors over there instead of putting them away and getting them back out like I did. For her little purse there, I'm using E43, 42, and 50, and then I'm going to give it a little decoration with my R39, since R39 was something I already had out. I kind of picked on my purse where I wanted it, my little stripes to be, and that stripe is really small, so in hindsight, I probably should have got out my Spica glitter pin, and then I didn't have to worry about it. For the coffee cup, we are going to use C1, C0, E43, E42, and then for the rim, we're using E50. So if you wanted to color all the coffee cups at once, you could color them all at once instead of putting the pins away and getting them out like I'm doing multiple times. And same for the shoes. For these shoes here, we're using E44, E43, E42, and then E49 for the soles. But I'm going to use the same exact colors over on the other girl's shoe, so you could hop over there and do her shoes now and not have to put them away. And the cart, I'm going to color the cart those colors too. I was just, doing it backwards today. So So here we go. We're just going to start over on this girl with E11. We're going to do the darkest color first. I always color darkest to lightest because it works best for me. It may not work best for you. You have to kind of try things out. I know a lot of people color lightest to darkest. For me, I use too much ink. It seemed like it was getting way too dark, so it was easier just to go darkest to lightest and add the 2 coats instead of saturating the paper with the lightest color and then coming back and saturating it even more with a medium color and then saturating it even more with the darkest color. By the time I got done, their skin was so orangish and gross that I couldn't deal with it, so I started coloring it the opposite direction. You can try it out both ways and see which works best for you. Same with paper. This may not be the paper for you. You may want to try different papers out and see how different papers work for you. Whenever I switch papers to a different one, I have to practice. That's just the way it is. You have to practice every time that I switch colors. For this girl's hair, she's got kind of wavy hair, so I'm just doing some little squiggly lines. I'm trying to hold my pen more straight up and down, and I'm going in and just squiggling some lines from the top to the bottom and giving her some waves in there. You want to make sure your hair is going in the direction that it falls. You don't want it to be going in some weird off direction that it doesn't go to. And then for the lightest color, I always fill it all the way in. I don't like the way the white looks, but if you can get yours to look great and you like it that way, just leave some white streaks in there. Again, I'm just squiggling some of that color on there and making some little wavy sections in her hair. So now we're going to go ahead and do this girl's sweater, and I used Y35 over on the other girl's shirt, so I wanted to use it over here on this girl too. You could do this girl's boots with these colors. That would make her whole outfit tie in, or you could use some of those reds that we used on the other girl's sweater on her boots to give her some red boots or a red sweater. So you can kind of switch it up. It's all up to you what you want to do. Here I'm just going over the entire sweater with my Y21 on my second coat to soften things up. Now we're going to move on to her dress, and like I said, you could have done these the blue stripes when you were doing the girl's pants. You could also, while you have these out doing her dress, you could hop over and do the canopy on your cart, unless you've decided to do the canopy red. So make sure to switch it up. And nobody says that the girl's hair has to be exactly the same color as the other girl's hair. You can pick out different colors. I was just trying to keep everything cohesive between images so that I didn't have to get out half of my markers to color this one image up. I already had a whole bunch. I didn't even count them, but I had a whole cup full, and I had some sitting on my desk that wouldn't even fit in the cup. So for you, it may be easier just to color them all the same or get a bunch of stuff out. You know, it's totally up to you. Here I'm doing her purse with the browns that I used to do her shoe. So we're just adding that color back in there. Again, trying to keep it cohesive. But again, you know, go ahead and use whatever colors you want to do. So for this card kit this time, this My Favorite Thing stamp set has a bunch of images and some sentiments. So I went ahead and picked up the coordinating die that goes with this so I don't have to fussy cut all these little pieces out. That dog and that tree up there is pretty small, so it's going to be pretty hard to cut out without the die. You can do it. It's just going to take you a little bit extra. Usually if the stamp set comes with a bunch of images that would be take forever to cut out, or there's a bunch to cut out, I always buy the coordinating die so that I don't have to deal with it. It is a little bit more expensive, but for me the price is worth it if you're going to have to cut a bunch of stuff out. Here for our little dog, I'm giving it a collar and a bow, and then I use my W9 for her nose, and then I'm going in and I'm going to give him some circles and stuff on his body. So I gave him a little circle on his butt, and I gave him a little circle around each of his little eyes. I made sure when I did his eyes that I kind of did a curved C there, so he's got his little cheeks kind of puff up, so they're not flat. So make sure you do that when you do yours. And then I just gave it a couple coats. Now we're going to go in and do our tree. So here I used some grays to do my flower pot. You could use the C2 to make it a little bit darker. Here I'm going to do the flower on it. I'm just doing some dots, so I kind of went in and did like 3/4, and then I'm doing half the dots, and then I did a quarter of the tree with the dots, and then I swipe over the entire thing with this to blend it in. Nothing fancy. Here's all the colors we're going to use for our cart, and again, those are all colors that we already used on stuff that we've already colored. So if you already got it out, You could color those all at the same time, and then you don't have to put them away and then get them back out. Me, I had a big pile on my desk in a cup and just piled there, so it worked out pretty good. But when I'm coloring, I have my Copics in one of those little briefcase things that Copic sells. I don't even know if they sell them anymore, but I've had mine for quite some time. I love that thing because I can just shut the lid and lock it so my kids can't get into it. I don't want them playing in my Copic markers, and I can just take it with me if I want to go somewhere. So here's that canopy. This canopy would look really cute if you painted it or colored it red like the other girl's shirt, or you colored it yellow like the girl's sweater. I think either of those choices would be super cute for a canopy, or maybe do it striped. You could have blue, red, and yellow stripes. I think that would look really cute. So, toss it up. Do whatever you want to do with it and kind of switch it up a little bit. For the little menu board there, I'm going to color it in with my W9, and then I use my Sharpie white paint pen to do a little dot. I couldn't make a menu. I couldn't write that small with my Sharpie paint pen, but I did a dot and then like a little squiggle line so it looked like there was writing on there. And I used my glaze pen to go around the wheels, and I did all the eyes and the little dog's nose. The glaze pen makes it kind of pop up a little bit so that it's got some dimension on there. And then I used my Sharpie white paint pen to add some dots to their cheeks, to the sweater, to the little card over there, to the little canopy, and stuff like that. Just some added details. So anyway, you can head over to the store blog for some more close-up pictures and details on this card. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate it, and it helps my channel. Don't forget, everything will be listed down in the description box if you'd like to pick something up. And right about now, you should be seeing a little screen that will show you a couple more videos I thought you might be interested in. If you are, click on either one and it will take you straight there. Otherwise, I hope you are having a fabulous day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.